Hey there, film fans! Welcome back to my channel. If you love movies and series as much as I do, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. Enjoy the video. The film starts in the year 1021 in England, with a child named Rob. We see Rob working in a factory to make a living for his mother and brothers. This is because Europe at that time was a place of poverty and ignorance. Rob was living with his mother and brothers and working in exchange for food. At the end of the day, Rob finishes his work and takes food in exchange for the day he worked. On his way home, he sees people gathering around a monster named Barbel. Barbel cures people of any diseases or magic that can harm them, and people are very convinced of him. They love him because this was the traditional way of treatment in Europe. Because medicine was not widespread, except in the Arab countries, at the hands of a scientist named Ibn Sina. While Rob was concentrating with Barbel, someone was stealing food from him. Rob runs quickly to get the food from this thief. He returns the food again, but he is beaten and injured. He returns home to deliver food to his mother and brothers. Rob is responsible and spends on his younger brothers. At the end of the day, Rob wakes up to the sound of his mother's pain. He finds his mother sick, and the first time he touches her, he feels that she is about to die. This is the first time Rob feels this feeling, but he makes sure that he can know if the person is going to die or not just by touching him. Rob quickly goes to Barbel and asks him to cure his mother. When he returns home, he is told by a church doctor that his mother is seriously injured. This disease has no cure, and his mother dies and he leaves his brothers. The next day, he takes the residents of the city, Rob's brothers, to take care of them. He leaves him alone in the street because he is old enough to work and take care of himself. At this time, Barbel decides to run away from the city after he discovers that he is a liar, because he was unable to cure his mother from the leprosy. Before Barbel leaves, he goes to Rob and asks him to work with him, but he does not agree, so Rob hides in Barbel's car and runs away from the city. When Barbel arrives in a new city, he hears his car's sound. He is still thinking, but he discovers that he is Rob. So Rob asks him and agrees to work with him and take care of him. After a few years, Rob grows up and learns all the magic moves from Barbel. He moves them between cities to impress people with their magic moves. He gives the residents of the city a cure for their diseases. When he discovers that they are scammers, he runs away from the city. One day, he treats an old man with a tooth problem. Because Barbel does not see well, he puts a toxic substance on his mouth. When he touches Rob, he feels the same feeling as his mother. At the end of the day, Barbel warns him and tells him that this old man will die. But Barbel does not care about what he says. He tells him that he enjoys the party. While they are having breakfast, he stops them near the old man who was treating Barbel. He tells him that he is the cause of his death and keeps beating him until he loses consciousness. When he wakes up, he sees Barbel inside his car and she is burning. He quickly gets out of the car and treats the burns. At this time, Barbel starts to lose his sight and unable to lick his mouth. So Rob offers to help him, but he refuses. While they are showing their poverty to people, Rob hears a group of Jews treating eye diseases. He takes Barbel and goes to them to treat his eyes. When they arrive there, Rob notices that they are doing it in a bad way, because they persecute Christians, but they treat Barbel for a large amount. He succeeds in the operation and returns to Barbel again. At the end of the day, Rob asks the Jew where he learned this cure. The Jew tells him that he learned medicine at the hands of Ibn Sina. He tells him that he also learns at the school of Ibn Sina, so he will stay a year or more on the road. Because the road from England to Isfahan takes a year, he warns him that he is a Christian because Christians are persecuted in Isfahan. He must change his religion before he travels to reach Isfahan. The next day, Rob says goodbye to Barbel to travel to Isfahan. He sees Barbel sad as if his son is traveling. So Rob travels with a Jewish tribe to Isfahan. He changes his name to Jesse and tells them that he is a Jew to take him with them. At their route, he knows that this tribe is going to Isfahan to marry their daughter Rebecca to a rich man from Isfahan. At their route, he sees a whole city being killed by a group of bad guys, but there is only one girl who is still alive, so Rebecca decides to take her with her. Rob takes advantage of the presence of the little girl to talk to Rebecca, because he likes her because of her beauty. He tells her that she's the most beautiful girl he has ever seen in his life. The next day, Rob wakes up from his sleep to Rebecca's voice and asks him to help her. She tells him that the child has a high fever, so Rob uses the treatment methods he learned from Barbel to treat her. Rebecca tells the story before going to bed to the child so that she can sleep. Rob stays focused with Rebecca while she tells the story. He tells her that he wants to tell the story, but it is getting dark. She tells him that they will continue their conversation the next day. The next day, they are in their car and meet them on a sandy beach. The whole tribe is separated from each other. Rob and Rebecca stay alone in the desert. They do not look for anyone from the tribe. They think that Rob died because he found Rebecca's storybook. A few days later, they run out of food and water. Rob dies of thirst. Before Rob dies, he sees the lights of Isfahan. He goes there quickly, and when he enters the city, he sees the mayor of the city. He finds that all people love the mayor of the city and celebrate him. He walks in the streets of the city and celebrates with them because he finally arrived in the city after he was going to die in the desert. The next day, Rob goes to Ibn Sina's school to ask him to teach medicine. He meets the guard of Ibn Sina's school. He tells him that he is rejected and will not be accepted in the school because he does not have a recommendation from any university. He is also not rich. He throws himself in the street and falls unconscious. When he gets up, he finds that Ibn Sina is the one who treats him, but he does not know that this person is Ibn Sina. He asks this person to help him in school to learn medicine. He tells him that he traveled from England to Isfahan to meet Ibn Sina and learn medicine. The next day, Rob knows that he was accepted in school, and he will start studying medicine. In school, he meets a Muslim student named Karim and a Jewish student named Martin. Rob meets them, and we know that Karim is one of the richest merchants in Isfahan. He decided that Karim should study medicine, but in fact, he does not like medicine or studies. Ibn Sina, who enters the hall to explain the lessons, interrupts him. Rob is shocked when he sees him. He knows that the person who treated him is Ibn Sina. He feels that he has finally succeeded. The last day, Martin tells Rob to go home. Rob goes with him because he does not have a place to stay. A few days later, Rob goes with Martin to meet his uncle Bar Kabar. Rob knows that Bar Kabar will marry Rebecca, who was traveling with him. He is happy because she is still alive and has not died in the desert. But he is upset that she will marry Bar Kabar because he liked her very much and wanted to marry her. Rob says goodbye to her and leaves. He remains sad all the time because he loves her very much. While he is walking in the city, he meets a night girl. He goes to her to spend the night with her. As soon as he touches her, Rob feels that she is about to die. He takes her to Ibn Sina hospital. He asks Ibn Sina to expose her because he is sure that she will die. Ibn Sina exposes her and finds that she has the most expensive shoes she has worn. Ibn Sina saves her from the poison. Rob knows that he has superpowers. He can feel death if he is close to a certain person. He brings Ibn Sina closer to him and makes him his most important student in school. He promises him that he will be a teacher one day in school. At that time, the ruler of Isfahan is beating Ibn Sina and Rob. When they reach the ruler's palace, they find that the ruler broke his hand. He treats the ruler, and while he is treating him, he talks to the ruler and is brave in his words. This makes Ibn Sina leave quickly before the ruler kills him. The next day, a group of extremists decides to join the Bedouin tribes that want to conquer Isfahan. The leader of this group describes Ibn Sina's school as infidel and wicked. Ibn Sina's guard is one of the members of this extremist group. At that time, the leader of the Bedouin tribes decides to fight Isfahan with cooperation. He sends a cooperator to the city. This person succeeds in spreading the disease quickly in Isfahan. When Ibn Sina knows what happened, he and his students start preparing plans to face the disease. At that time, people in the city start fleeing from it before they die. One of them is Bar Kabar, who left his wife Rebecca and left her after she was infected with the disease. Rob goes quickly to save Rebecca and succeeds in catching up with her. He takes her to Ibn Sina Hospital, which has become a public hospital at this time. Many people die because of the disease, until Rob discovers that the disease is transmitted from the corpses. They burn all the corpses that died because of the disease to save the rest. While they take care of the patient, Rob tries to convince Ibn Sina to explain the corpse and know what's inside it, but Ibn Sina refuses. He tells him that he can't do that, or he'll be executed. So Rob decides to explain a corpse in a place far from the eye. He takes a corpse of a dead person and hides it in a place in the mountains. Every day, he explains it and sits next to it for hours to draw the shape of the organs inside it. Rob discovers that all the imaginations about the organs of the human body are not real, and that its shape is actually more accurate than the imaginations in the books. The next day, Rob and Ibn Sina try to discover the cause of the plague. They know that it is because of the fungus in the body of the mouse. So they burn all the mice in the city of Isfahan. They succeed in reducing the number of people who die because of the plague. One day, Rob talks to Rebecca and tells her that she will return home soon. She asks Rebecca to sit alone on the roof. She confesses to him that she loves her, and he also loves her. He sees them together and tells Rob that the Bedouin tribes are attacking Isfahan. Although Barkabar is his uncle, he was sick when he was sick, and she has the right to start her life with someone else. At that time, Barkabar returns to Isfahan again, and so Rebecca will live with her husband again. Rob tells her that he does not want to leave her, but he has to do so. He gets close to her because this is the last time he will see her, and Rebecca lives with her husband again. At this time, Rob discovers the death of his friend Karim due to the disease of plague. He is very saddened by the death of Karim because he was his close friend. One day, Rebecca feels very painful and asks her husband Merdine to expose hers. Merdine discovers that she is pregnant and tells her that this is Rob's son. Rebecca has to make a relationship with her husband after she tried to avoid him since their marriage. Days pass, and one day, while Rob is studying the body he explained, a school guard catches him and decides to hand him over to the extremist group leader to judge him. While he is in prison with Sina's son, he tries to calm Sina's son and tells him that they lost their lives in the study to help people. And he begins to turn sadness and fear of death into a discussion about everything Rob saw in the body he explained. And here we see that Sina's son was obsessed with science, to the point that he forgot that he was going to die as soon as he discovered that there was new information that he did not know. So they both continue to discuss the organs of the human body until the next day. The next day, while Rob and Sina's son are in court, Rob tries to tell the truth. He says that he is a Christian, not a Jew, and that his real name is Rob. He asks them to release Sina's son because he did not participate in the crime. But the leader of the extremist group tells him that he hates Sina's son and that he wants to kill him early. In the meantime, Rebecca leaves her house to see her beloved Rob, and Barkabar runs after her, who discovers his wife's betrayal and decides to kill her. In the palace, the ruler sees that the ruler is sick and is dying, so he asks his soldiers to save Sina's son and Rob to cure him. But before he is executed, the ruler's soldiers appear and kill all the extremist group soldiers. Rob takes the king's palace and discovers that the king is infected with the deadly Zeta, and this is the same disease that killed his mother. So he asks the king to remove the Zeta from his stomach, so he can fight with his army of Bedouin tribes that will attack them. So Rob tells him that before he does the operation, he must help save Rebecca. So he agrees to the king and sends his soldiers to save her, and they follow her at the last moment. And at the end of the day, Rob begins to help Sina and Merdin to do the operation. And this is the first surgical operation in history. Rob succeeds in removing the Zeta from his stomach, and he sees his mother in front of him as if she is doing the operation. After a few hours, the ruler is sick and says that he will go to the head of the army to fight the Bedouin tribes because he wishes to die in the war and not die on the bed. And before the war begins, Rob tells him on a secret road to escape from the city. So Rob goes to take Rebecca and the largest number of people to escape from the city. And when he gets out of this secret road, he discovers that Sina's son did not go with them. So he goes back to school quickly, and there he finds him. So he asks Rob to escape with him before the Bedouin tribes arrive. But he tells him that the time has passed and that he decided to die in the midst of science and books. And Rob knows that Sina's son drank poison to commit suicide. So he touches Rob and makes sure that he will die soon. So he tells Sina that he must preserve his knowledge. And he advises him to open a medical school in England to spread science. And at this time, the ruler goes to the head of his army to meet the Bedouin tribes. And the ruler dies while trying to defend the city of Isfahan. And the Bedouin tribes can take over Isfahan. And this is after they agreed with the extremist group to be their soldiers in the city. And as soon as Rob arrives in England, he opens the first hospital in Europe. And his reputation reaches the point of a hit that makes him happy just to hear his name. And he decides to go to him as soon as possible to meet him, because he has not seen him for years. And the film ends. If you liked the video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow the Page Summary Movie Official at Facebook. And see you in the next summary. Bye.